Hey Cathy, how are you going?
Excellent.
Well, thank you for welcoming us into your home. It's an absolute pleasure to interview you today.
It's a pleasure for you to be here in this fantastical house.
It's very special for me because you were actually one of our first ever tenants at New Dawn Housing, and obviously since then we've grown quite exponentially. So it's a special day to have a chat to you and tell your story.
Well, that is wonderful. We needed a cake, didn't we?
So first off, just would you mind just telling us a bit about yourself?
Well, I became very sick very quickly. First of all, I had an aneurysm, then I had a stroke, and after that, I had a heart attack. It was like a triple whammy, and then I had to go into many places before, one after the other, and this New Dawn house is in the most glorious setting because it's where I grew up. My whole life's been in this area, so everyone visits me.
That's fantastic, and that's what we like to hear.
It's one of the things that help you in something like this.
Yeah,
When something happens suddenly,
that's incredibly important. Location to us is one of the big three
community
pillars.
of your whole life.
Yeah, I agree. I think having it in the right location and the fact that you grew up
Like
here is great.
3 streets away from here was where I went to primary school, lower primary.
I'm glad to hear that you obviously got to move into an area that you know really well. And how was your process of moving into a new Dawn housing home and into SDA?
I would say complimentary,
Yeah.
and with the support of a brilliant husband and the nudges from my family.
Do you think there's some things that people, like when you came into SDA, that you were worried it was going to be like, say, institutional, or if you were worried, that you wouldn't have a say over things that you found actually incorrect, that you do have a say over things, and or like, like you said, you come into this house and you really like it. Could you talk a bit about that?
I came into this house and instantly felt warmth.
Yeah.
And like I said, the light, I felt home,
Yeah.
equally to my home. Got the same feeling. And at first I didn't want to go anywhere. When I first got sick, I was too scared to go anywhere. So you've taken all that pressure and ease off of me. And I wasn't going to go anywhere.
No, that's really great to hear. Have you found that in SDA, for example, one of the main elements is accessibility? Like as we can tell, like you are in a wheelchair. Have you found that being in SDA has made it easier for you to move around and access your home?
Yeah. The room sizes are perfect. Everything, that side of things is perfect.
One thing that's really big in our houses is that we want to offer, especially in shared environments, 2 living rooms. Could you touch a bit on the benefits of having these larger living areas and having multiple, especially when you live with someone else?
Very important because you've got to remember that people have families and visitors, and you have that separate guideline so that you can not cross each other's boundaries.
I look outside and I remember one thing that I really noticed through the process of moving you into your new home and talking to your family is I really learned how much of a green thumb you are, and you've spoke about that how important the garden is. If you found that having a backyard space that is flat, is accessible, and you do have, say, that garden bed, how have you found that's impacted your life?
Beautiful and get fresh air. And how important is that?
Cathy, could you talk a bit about, like, you have your own private little courtyard near your bedroom as well?
It's been significantly beautiful because my husband and I like to have our meals sometimes just out there quietly getting fresh air on a beautiful night. When I stand up, I love looking out the window.
And I really like how you've decorated your home as well. I think it's something that you can really sense, you know, yourself, as you said, you've really made it a home. Fortunately, we've got Simon here today, so let's ask him a few questions. Simon, thank you for joining us. How did you learn about SDA?
Initially, we were in Hampstead, and then we went to the Repat, then we went to Semaphore. We were waiting on this house to be built because it was in the ideal situation for Cathy. It was our old stomping ground. I went and looked at a dozen other places with one of the helpers, and this one stood out. It was amazing. It was everything you wanted. Suburb, size, 2 people, lots of space, garden, lots of light as Kath loves. It ticked all the boxes. The transformation into the house was really smooth. Like we were at Semaphore, the house was finished. We had a bit of a COVID moment, but you know, we were down there, she was being looked after. Then when we brought her in, we found out about it on the Thursday, she was here on the Friday. We are very lucky to get into this area because there aren't a lot of SDA homes in this area, and not the quality that this is. Like I said, I saw a dozen places and this is outstanding. It was a standout.
Thanks, I really appreciate the kind words. One thing I kind of want to touch on, and Kath has brought up, but what have you found that Kath living in an SDA home, how do you found it's increased her quality of life and the quality of care that she can receive?
Well, one of the big things was a lot of houses that are around are like 3 to 5 people.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see that working. It's too many people in a house. Here it's 2. The size of the house is the separation, which Kath touched on with regards to there's an area here and the other housemate uses the top lounge room, which no other place that I went to had any of that. The size of the rooms is really great. Your bathroom next door. Kath shared a bathroom with 4 other people, you know, before we got here. So you knew what you didn't really want. This had everything.
Do you find the accessibility is easier in these homes, like with the wider doorways and?
Look, the automatic doors, absolutely fantastic, because I'm usually, you know, with Kath and I come back from somewhere, you know, you get automatic door, you're not holding a door open, you're not all that. You don't understand all these things until you get into the disability area, because you don't really know.
When the carport comes up.
Yeah.
When it's raining and you can
and
bring
get out
back
of the
the van in.
Yeah. Every time I've dealt with New Dawn, they've been very receptible. We know we worked through the back space with the size of the tiles and came to the party and realised what worked for us and doubled the size of it. And it's actually fantastic. Kath has the garden boxes, Dave has her garden boxes, and they can get around it. You know, it's a learning curve for everybody, I think. But I think that we have had great support from you guys.
That's fantastic to hear. One thing I wouldn't mind touching on as well is, what do you think makes New Dawn Housing stand out from other providers?
Well, comparing with what I saw, it's chalk and cheese. It's absolutely chalk and cheese. These houses are purposely built. They are everything that disability needs. Now, when I first came in here, I didn't realise what you do need, but transfers for Kath in the bedroom, in the bathroom, they're big enough. You know, those small things they're actually really important, because if the carers haven't got the room, then that's where things go wrong. I think when you move into the space, you need that support. Yeah. And New Dawn have given it to us. Yeah. As I said, with SDA, they gave it to us. You know, I can only positive on every move that's been made in this house. And it's really nice that if Kath walks out of here, that'll be sensational. But if she's here, I know that she's in a great place, great space, and she's looked after.
Thank you, Simon. It's incredibly important for us that Cathy feels at home here, and that's what we want.
Feel better than at home.
What are some misconceptions that you had prior to the move that you found are actually wrong?
I think that general people, they think that NDIS pay for everything. And that's a conception that you have to realise, that when you move into a house, there are fees that you pay and they're reasonable. That's something that people think NDIS pay. That's not the case. NDIS pay for your carers. Then there's your fees that you pay to be in the house. That's something that, you know, along the way you learn, and that works really well. It's a fair price, and especially when you're at the top of the market, which you guys give the top of the market.
And do you think as well, like, that the home environment is different to what you expected, or is it what you kind of expected when you moved from that more institutional environment?
If I was to, if that the situation happened, I'd move into one of these houses like this. I think that as you get older, you do need wider doors, you do need automatic doors,
Yeah.
you do need the security of the place. It really offers you everything. The backyard isn't too big to manage, you know.
Yeah.
All those sort of things work really well.
Thank you for today and being so open about your experience with SDA and with New Dawn Housing. It's always a pleasure to have a chat with you both, and thank you again for today. Thanks, Cathy.
My pleasure.
Easy.
Anytime.
Thank you.